She passed on Thursday at her home in Entebbe. I visited the family upon getting the news that she had passed on, and also contacted the funeral service, A+, to support the family as a contribution from Parliament, which A+ has done. His Excellency the President has also, in honor of the great contribution of Mrs. Luvega to Uganda, has directed Mrs. Luvega to be given an official burial. And today we are moving a motion here, paying tribute to a former foreign colleague, and will stand and observe a minute of silence for Mrs. Luvega.
May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Honorable members, in the last sitting, I communicated that we needed to have all members vaccinated. Members, staff, security that come to Parliament. And I really request members that let's respect the decision, let's act as an example to the rest of the country, because we want people to be vaccinated. Where there is a shortage of vaccines, we'll ask the government to come in and maybe give us information to that effect. But let's observe SOPs and also have ourselves vaccinated. The clerk to Parliament issued a circular, and the circular has been moving. And in my personal office today, we bounced somebody who had not been vaccinated. We need to act as example to this, so that even when we are telling our people out there that have yourselves vaccinated, when you're vaccinated yourself as members of Parliament, and you know how much our voters listen to us. What we say is final, because we are the voice of the voiceless. So when we tell the voters out there that let's get vaccinated, be vaccinated yourself first. I am happy the Minister of Agriculture and Attorney General's chambers is implementing the same. Nobody is entering the office without vaccination card. So as Parliament, we should walk the talk and have ourselves vaccinated. I want to thank you again for coming. I'm going to have a variation in the order of the order paper. We will make some changes where we shall have a tribute presented first. Then other matters will come in later. But in the gallery, we have our distinguished visitors who have come to follow the proceedings of the late Honorable Florence Luvega. We have Bishop Luere Joshua, is right there in the gallery, welcome. We have Bishop Odongo Moses. Bishop, you're welcome. We have Mr. Paul Wamala. Mr. Paul, you're welcome. We have Ms. Florence Sentimba, welcome. We have Godfrey Natuyamba, welcome. We have Annette Natuyamba, welcome. We have Dan Kagambwa. We have Stephen Magembe, Patrick Magembe, and Mrs. Magembe Teddy. They are all here to observe the proceedings in this house. on the late Florence Alice Luvega. There is also a condolence book out there. As you get out, you kindly sign on the condolence book. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm rising on a procedure matter. Right Honorable Speaker, last week on Thursday, I reported with your permission and indulgence the conditions of the two honorable members of Parliament under detention in Chigo and Luzira, the Honorable Segirinya in Luzira and the Honorable Sawanyana in Chigo prison. Whereas I reported about the sickness of the duo, today I'm here to report that in particular, Honorable Segirinya is not sick but ill. The medical personnel can distinguish between one being sick and one being ill. This is not to ask Parliament to exonerate them, but because at some stage Parliament offered to make an intervention, specifically to indulge the state in offering a leeway to have these honorable members get proper medical attention. When I visited the Honorable Segirinya on Thursday, he was clearly in pain. He was evacuated on Saturday to Mulago, and the family was not informed formally until yesterday, when somebody tiptoed and informed the family that the honorable member is in a dire state of health. Right Honorable Speaker, as head of this institution, I thought I owed his family public duty to raise a red flag before his colleagues and peers in this house that his health has been neglected by the state, and that should anything go wrong, the people to blame would have known that it has been publicly communicated that the honorable member is in a dire state of health, and for some reason his personal doctors have not been involved, and somehow his health is shrouded in secrecy while he's ailing. Yesterday, one of his attorneys was able to visit him, and he confirmed to me this morning that anything can happen to this honorable member. And I'm here to raise a red flag to this House and to the Speaker in particular to make a humanitarian intervention, to consider options of securing his health, so that whoever wants to prosecute him does not prosecute a dead man. Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, sorry I forgot to introduce the Iron Lady, Mama Maria Matembe. She's also in the gallery. Welcome, Maria. Government, the leader of opposition is raising the issue of Segirinya. We'll wait for government to give us a red flag as Parliament. We told you in this House, we are ready to do whatever it takes, whether it means taking the member out for treatment. So government will give us a go ahead, because it is the government to do that. For us as Parliament, we can't move in on our own. Maybe government will come up with that.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I have taken note on behalf of government the condition under which our brother is. And I promise, since he has said he has a personal doctor, I request that you and me take trouble to go and see him with the personal doctor and maybe some of our colleagues, and also, advise on the way forward.
Thank you. So we'll go to visit the patient, 3 of us, lead of government business, Lope, and myself, and we see what can be done to save a life. Because if you want to prosecute, we need to prosecute a person who is alive. So we'll do that. The motion.
Thank you for indulgence. Right, Honourable Speaker, not to necessarily controvert the promises by my Honourable Sister and Prime Minister of our interest in understanding properly the conditions of this honourable colleague. But I would like to remind the House, Right Honourable Speaker, that again, your good self ordered the Minister of Defence and Internal Affairs to intervene and report to this House on the issue of the citizens whose names I submitted here that had disappeared. We even met in your office. The ministers have never gotten back to us about these disappeared citizens whose names are on the Hansard. And I labored to seek out the Minister of Security, Jim, or is it? And he informed me he does not have information as yet, Right Honourable Speaker. So I want to believe that in this case, we are not going back into rounds of promises, because while some people are in our hands and are alive and ailing, the response is flimsy and scary. Up to now, the ministers we ordered have never reported on the citizens I reported here as disappeared for more than a year from their families, Right Honourable Speaker. Probably I use this occasion to seek for indulgence and order these ministers once again to return to the House and report whether they know the whereabouts of the citizens. If they were killed and buried, we can rebury them again decently and assure their families that these people were properly prosecuted illegally. We can bury them and, settle our troubles. Tomorrow there is their prayers, one of the families are reported about on the record of Parliament, to which some people told them to forget him and hold his funeral rites by state actors, Right Honourable Speaker. This is very worrying, and I think somebody has got to be serious and come here. The Prime Minister is here to take a note that your ministers were given a list of citizens that disappeared with the records of their families and the contacts. They have never come back here, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Lope, the list was given in my office, and when you reported that today, I have called the same ministers for a meeting. We decided to handle that in the office, and I've written to the ministers to come and we have a meeting to that effect. So we'll have a feedback to that effect from the said ministers, and we resolve that. Members, we have a very important motion. We are paying tribute to our late fallen colleague. And as I've said, the rules of procedure say that you sit when the speaker is talking. We are paying tribute to our fallen, the first woman legislator. So why don't we first debate the motion? We let the family go, and then we remain in this House. Prime Minister.
Motion for resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honourable Alice Florence Luvega, the first woman member in the Parliament of Uganda.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I move under Rule 56 of our Rules of Procedure to move that a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Mrs. Florence Luvega, the first female member of Parliament, for her dedicated service to the Republic of Uganda. Whereas the Parliament of Uganda received with deep sorrow the sad news of the death of Mrs. Florence Alice Luvega, which occurred on Thursday, 28th October 2021, aware that Mrs. Florence Alice Luvega, who died at the age of 103, had a long and successful life and was a pioneer in Uganda politics, having been the first female Ugandan legislator in the Parliament of Uganda, as well as being the first female to be admitted to the then prestigious Makerere College School, noting that Mrs. Florence Luvega has had a distinguished career, serving in several capacities, both in the public service of Uganda and in the private sector, and held several key responsibilities, recognizing that Mrs. Florence Alice Luvega was a role model for the girl child, an inspirational leader, and an advocate for women emancipation and empowerment, and is credited for having mainstreamed the protection of the girl child and veiling the girl child and women access to and equal opportunities in education, employment, elective politics, leadership positions, appreciating that Mrs. Florence Alice Luvega immeasurably participated in shaping the destiny of Uganda, served this country with dedication, patriotism, and was instrumental in highlighting and addressing gender inequality existing in Uganda societies. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows: that Parliament collectively conveys its deepest condolences to the bereaved family, relatives, friends, the people of Uganda for the loss of a distinguished and gallant citizen of this country, and that Parliament takes cognizance of the immense contribution that Mrs. Florence Alice Luvega has rendered to the people of Uganda, especially the realization of the rights of women and girl child. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to move.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Is the motion seconded? Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Leader of Opposition, Dr. Batua, Silwanyi, Charity, Chairperson Whopper, Government Chief Whip, Honorable Bahati, everybody, the whole House has seconded the motion. Would you love to speak to your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, justification. Right Honorable Speaker, this is the justification for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honorable Florence Alice Luvega, Uganda's first female member of Parliament. She died on Thursday, 28th October 2021. Right Honorable Speaker, we mourn the life of the only female legislator in the Legislative Council of the then May 1962. Honorable Luvega was passionate about empowering the girl child and women emancipation. She is quoted to have said, I quote, what could be of more importance to the health and progress of a society than to give its women the best that education can offer? Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, born to the former Katikkiro of Buganda, the late Samuel Wamala and Elina Nantongo, on 5th November 1917, Honorable Luvega studied at Gayaza High School, Buroba Teachers Training College, Makerere College in 1945, and later St. Hugh's College, Oxford, London University in 1950 to 1951. She mentored many women politicians, including Joyce Impanga, the great woman who was a member of parliament in Mubende, before she joined the politics as a member of parliament for single North constituency. Honorable Speaker, Luvega was among the 52 prominent legislators who were recognized for their contribution to democracy, good governance, and the rule of law when Uganda celebrated the 50 years of independence. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Honorable Florence Luvega served as the Deputy Minister of Community Development and Labor in the Obote 1, that is 1967-1971 government, and government wishes to extend our profound sympathies to the family and the people of Uganda. May the Almighty God grant her soul eternal rest. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to join my Honorable Sister and Prime Minister in seconding the motion, in paying tribute to a honorable daughter of Uganda that rested a few days ago. Right Honorable Speaker, if we had enough time, probably her life would have been an indelible blackboard. Call it a whiteboard.
A member who is on Zoom, Honorable Sen, will consider that you're in the House. Sorry. Maybe this goes to all the members who are on Zoom. When you're on Zoom, don't do other things. You're in the House. Because we are seeing what you're doing. Yes. Please continue.
Thank you for your indulgence, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this House owes members an up-close orientation on etiquette, and probably the members are victims of that absence of orientation. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll take leave of that. I said that in jest. Strictly speaking about this foreign daughter of Uganda, I was saying that on another day, her life and life experiences would have offered us an opportunity to mirror into the lives of each one of us in public life and what our political history has been since independence. She became a member of parliament when my state of life is not defined, because I was only born much later. When she had even left parliament, I was in exile. The fact that the bulk of her life after parliament was lived in exile is a huge tale about how our politics are shaped since independence. And it should really be lesson enough to educate us on the circumstances that exiled her. I'm very sure no single citizen would love to live a life away from his or her people. For those of us who have globe-trotted, you meet so many citizens of Uganda that are exiled, and you can see their sense of emptiness because they left a country called home that they miss so, so dearly. And because our politics has been laden with contradictions and the inability to move to the center and coalesce as a people and cultivate a common agenda, that has badly eluded us. And to this fallen honorable member, I'm very sure she returned home in her later years. I'm sure she did not have enough time to make a contribution she would have loved to make on motherland. Right Honourable Speaker, she's been hailed as one of the forebearers of the women emancipation movement. And this set was the ghost to the effect that woman emancipation is a thing over the 80s. I'm not quoting any years. So it simply says that efforts have been with us over the years since independence to put the girl child at the forefront of efforts to develop the aspirations and the dreams of Uganda at inception. At the making of Uganda in 1962, the country had dreams for its daughters. These dreams have since dwindled because the very issues that would put the girl child at the forefront of incubating the growth of this nation have either been fallen on the wayside or have been neglected. Her demise should rekindle the desire to prioritize girl child education, because not many, as privileged as she was a daughter of a catikiro. That's no mean feat. Others cannot have that opportunity. So we should remind ourselves of a duty of care we owe the girl child in this country and prioritize in our budgets, in our programs, in our policies on how we can ensure the girl child. We are now aware how the girl child has immensely suffered during this COVID lockdown. We discuss every day how many have fallen out of the school system. We are discussing pregnancy at infancy. These are challenges that our systems must address to secure the girl child. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to offer my condolences to the family and remind government that this honourable member lost her every belonging when she went in exile to secure her life. She had property, she had land and houses in Kakiri. They were confiscated by the then government. Successive governments must have of necessity inherit the problems of the past governments. Whether those governments were being run by terrible humans, the decent humans must work to restore parity to those who lost in the times. And I would like, as a commitment from the Prime Minister, that probably a conversation with the family to try and restore what was lost, because it was unfairly lost, but it belonged to her and her people and her close people. As a form of recognition, this motion will not atone for what she lost and the family. Only and only until something is practically done to restore what was lost. It was taken by a government, probably the current government, which is a part of it, I do not know, but just in case, even if not, government owes a duty to the family. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much. Dean of Independence. Macho is speaking for Dean of Independence. Then we open the debate.
Madam Speaker, I am shocked that up to now my good friend, Honorable Tamaguzi, doesn't know that I'm an independent member of Parliament. I can step in the shoes of my Dean.
2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, we are standing in the August House in the Pearl of Africa to discuss the first honorable woman who carried the flag of the women in Uganda. It was a testing time, that this time the role of women in this country were to dance for the colonial leaders and to cook for the husbands. But through the encouragement, through the hard work of Honorable Florence, she rose up and came on the dining table of the leadership of this country to show the whole world that women were not created as potters, but as partners in the leadership of every country. And therefore, Madam Speaker, my boss, the Dean, told me to speak about the good values that made Florence be what she was. And value number one, when our researcher was digging into the life history of Florence, we discovered she was a visionary leader. She was a woman of humility. She was a respectful woman. She was a member of parliament, but still kneeled for the husband. And this is what we would need for the generation to build our culture of women in this country. Madam Speaker, I know the modern culture has brought up emancipation and empowerment to mean something else, but we cannot forget our roots. Madam Speaker, Honorable Florence was a team builder. During the time she worked as a deputy minister, history shows that her ministry performed better. That by men.
Now,
Speaker,
I am opening.
Florence had all those qualities. It teaches us a lesson today that we should support women, not like how it is in this generation that every woman who raises up, they pull her down. Support our mothers who are in leadership so that the whole country knows that whether we are men, women can lead together with us to build a stronger nation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, seconders of the motion. Honorable Macho, even the women of these days kneel. But kneeling does not mean respect only. And one thing I need to bring to your attention that the late Honorable Florence was also a Deputy Minister of Planning and Community Development. She was the first woman member of Parliament who broke the barriers and set the pace for women of today. That's no wonder in this government, most of the leaders are women. That was courtesy of the first women who were in leadership. We also salute the courage that we saw her become the first pre-independence and post-independence woman member of Parliament. She was the first. And together with Dr. Sarah Ntiro, Francis Akelo, and Joyce Masembe Mpanga, they defied all the odds and succeeded as women, all the odds of early marriages and that kind of thing. And because of that we have the women members of Parliament in this House who are fully emancipated. To the level of becoming a speaker. And I want to assure this House, I am still a deputy speaker for 10 years. To the level of becoming a prime minister. Honorable members, the debate is open. Honorable Minister of Gender. Can we have Minister of Gender first, then Whopper, Then,
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me thank the Prime Minister and the Leader of Opposition for moving and seconding the motion respectively. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, Florence, the first woman member of Parliament. The history has indicated that she treasured education. When the Right Honorable Speaker quoted one of her statements, the quotation dwelt on the importance of education to the girl child. And if we were not educated, Right Honorable Speaker, we would not be standing here. And I want to salute her for ensuring she advocated for education for the girl child. I want to thank her for the journey that she made throughout from 62 to 103 years. She remained true to emancipation of women and the girl child. Even when she was dying, she was still advocating for emancipation of women. And I want to say the journey has not been in vain, because the history of women's emancipation in this country has been that of achievements amidst challenges, but today we boast of 47% of women in cabinet. And if you look at this desk, and when you go to cabinet and you see the ministers who are women, you will agree that they are holding very important portfolio that people would think women would not hold. Minister of Energy, people would think oil and energy are for men, but we have a woman. Before that, we had a woman. We have a woman Minister of Health just behind me here. That's a man. Now the man wants to claim her. Can you imagine? We have the Prime Minister who is called Majegere. Seated here, a woman. The Vice President chairs cabinet. We are defining the agenda of this country. Speaker, you are seated there. You've done wonderful as our Speaker. And before you, we had Right Honorable Kadaga, who has been a speaker for 10 years, deputy speaker for 10 years. When you go to Makerere University now, Department of Law, women are more than 60% as students of law. You go to engineering department and some of the Department of Technology, they are being aided by women. That is education. So I want to thank Honorable Florence.
We will wait for you at home.
Let me conclude. For cutting all the thorns for us who are seated here today, to enjoy the struggle that her and others stood firm to define the agenda for today. I want to offer, on behalf of the women of Uganda, the person who holds the ministry that defines the women's policy, Ministry of Gender, to say we condone with the family, we condone with the women, and we condone with the government and the people of Uganda. May your soul rest in peace.
thank you, Whopper.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me first to thank colleagues, the members of Parliament, both female and male, that supported me, and those who voted for me as chairperson of the Uganda Women's Parliamentary Association. Amidst all the challenges and flying phone calls, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to support the motion, pay tribute to our dear mother, the late Florence Luvega. She's first woman member of Parliament, but also, Right Honorable Speaker, she's also the first female to be admitted at Makerere College. What I have read about her, Right Honorable Speaker, is that she was a prayerful woman, and we need to thank God that she maintained her eyesight, she maintained her hearing, she was not impaired,
And most importantly, Right Honorable Speaker, other than being a member, first female MP, she was also the vice chairperson of the Uganda Council of Women. And I believe this is the council that should have opened doors for women in politics. Right Honorable Speaker, the late was a remarkable debater. From what is on the Hansard, she gained popularity for her firm stand against the executive. She was actually angry when a number of colleagues crossed the floor, and when they went to the government side, she said she always felt sad because they remained mute. And Right Honorable Speaker, if I can quote, one of the things she said here is that there is no harm in pointing out to government what part of its duty it is not being properly fulfilled. We are not here to joke. We are not here to please each other. We are not here even to earn popularity amongst our fellow parliamentarians, but we are here to perform our duties and perform them to the best of our ability. Can we, as women in this 11th Parliament, emulate the late Luvega by speaking out? If you speak out, it doesn't mean you're an enemy. You are only trying to ask the government to do its bit. We took an oath to defend. We took an oath to defend and protect the Constitution, and let us stick to that. Right Honorable Speaker, it is reported that she did not have children. And Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request that it is our duty as members of this Parliament to ensure that we support the women and men of this country who are unable to have children. The assisted reproductive technology is a very expensive venture. We need to ensure that we have adequate resources to support such people so that they are not like her. We have a number of gender-related bills in memory of the late Luvega. Right Honorable Speaker, can we have these bills, the succession bill, the surrogacy and art bill that is supposed to be moved, the marriage bill, the sexual offences bill? All these are gender-related bills, Right Honorable Speaker. Can we, in memory of this great lady, as the 11th Parliament, pass these bills? Right Honorable Speaker, she was supposed to meet the members of the WOPA in September. Unfortunately, she could not. And she wanted to speak to us about the girl child and the increasing teenage pregnancies. Unfortunately, that was not achieved. Right Honorable Speaker, we have a motion on the girl child, and it also touches on the teenage pregnancy. I want to request, in memory of this great lady, that that motion be prioritized so that we can debate as the House and make the necessary recommendations to the government. I want to end, Right Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Leader of Opposition was asking about what exiled her. From the information that I have read, it is said that President Amin then wanted to marry her, and she decided to take off in fear because rejecting him would have cost her her life. Right Honorable Speaker, with that, I beg to second the motion.
Members, order. Order. My presumption is what the chairperson WOPA said is not true. Members, we are going to have a limited debate. Everybody supports this motion. And as we said, we need to release the family to go and arrange for the burial which is going to take place. But one thing also, what the Leader of Opposition had raised, one thing is about the compensation. One thing is, when I visited the family, we had a long chat. And I realized the president was really a personal friend to Florence. And no wonder he has given her official burial. And what the family also said, that there was an instruction to Attorney General then to recover what belonged to the late Florence. Now, it is now upon the current Attorney General to take over. But the President has been supportive to the late Florence. She was even recognized during our CPC. She has been recognized in a number of women functions. She's actually the icon of a girl-child education. Seungu, Oima.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and honourable members. Honourable Speaker, I also stand to support the motion. And indeed, what we should learn from this, some of us never knew this lady, but God blessing her with 103 years is something very important. However, Honourable Speaker, whenever I come on the floor, I still insist that these people, we should know them, and this country needs the creation of council of elders. These are the people who can talk to the head of state with no fear or favor, and we tell him that what you are doing here is wrong, or where we have gone wrong, please correct this area. And I pray, Honourable Speaker, we normally come here to praise these people, but we don't see them in our daily life. For example, as we talk now, we have the Vice President who has just left. He's suffering with traffic jam in a very oldish ramshackle car, and he is the former Vice President of this country. These people need respect. We need to see them. Right now, Prime Minister, the President calls the Vice President, he has to suffer in the jam, and he has an escort who is a private, but is the former Vice President of this country. Right Honorable Edward Chanuka, Sekandi. So I want to thank, as we talk about ladies, people have been boasting that the ones who brought women emancipation. It has been there for a long time, since 1962. That's why you have Florence, who was energetic, a professional teacher like Sewungu Joseph Gonzaga, who went through a great teachers' college, Buloba Primary Teachers' College. Some people think that teachers are only for teaching and they are signposts. Here you have a teacher who taught and became a member of parliament, like a Sewungu standing in front of you, speaking very good English, and he was also speaking very good English. Honourable Speaker, I think in your powers, as you've stated, you will have a day, maybe within every year, where we look at these big people. There is Rhoda Kalema in Chiboga. She was a former member of parliament. She has written books. I think she's 96 years. All those people, right now, Speaker, I think we create a day for us. They come here, join us. We have meal with them so that they live with happiness. And last, Prime Minister, what the Speaker said, why don't you give these people what is due to them? If the Attorney General was directors over then, these people are going to die. They want to enjoy their lives, eat everything, whether it is Komamboga or where, they want to enjoy their life as they live the world. Drive Porsche cars so that they enjoy themselves. But this business of coming, we praise them after death, we move motions, very okay. That's why you see General Moses Sall is there, he's enjoying,
Honorable,
and all that. Thank you.
we have a law that was passed on the benefits of the former speakers, former deputy speakers, former vice presidents, prime ministers. Honorable Prime Minister, you want to tell me the law is not implemented?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we passed a law here for the benefits of the speakers, the vice presidents, the prime ministers who have served this country for some time. Right Honorable Speaker, what I know is Honorable Sekandi, His Excellency Sekandi, has got a car. He has a security lead car and a security detail. I was with her the other day in Masaka. His security detail is the one that was leading our car. And to me, he has even been appointed as the special envoy with a very good salary of over 20 million. Colleagues, I am speaking from information. I am the leader of government business, and I know. Yes. Second is my brother. We are of the same clan. I have been to his home twice. Even the other day, I went to Chanamukaka with him. Right Honorable Speaker, I think it's not in order for colleagues to come here and deceive. It is not good to tell lies. In Parliament, I want to request and appeal to colleagues to ignore his information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. He has never communicated to us that you're the spokesperson. Self-appointed. Members, if it is not true that he doesn't have the privileges, then he will have. But to the best of my knowledge, I met him in Luvega when I went to pray there, and he had his whole detail. For me, it doesn't matter whether it is old or what, but he had it. So maybe the other very important point is we need to have an archive. We need to have an archive of those old members of Parliament, and there are very few, so that we can always interact with them and see what we can do with them. Oima.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to add on my voice to condole with the family of the late Mother of Uganda, and also to pray that the God rest her soul into eternal peace. I'm Businge Harriet, woman member of Parliament for Ima District. And on this topic, Madam Speaker, it is my prayer that as Ugandans, we do not only stop at talking the good things the dead have done or their contribution to this country, but it's also our duty to take lessons from their death and their lives. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I believe Honourable Luvega, the late now, did whatever she did because of the conducive environment that was accorded to her as a woman of this nation. It is therefore my request, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, that we take it as a lesson, Honourable Members, to support women whenever they are given offices of responsibility. It is not new, Right Honourable Speaker, it is not new in Uganda to see that the emancipation of women we talk about is just in words. Look at what is happening. Whenever a woman gets a position of responsibility, she instantly gets attacked. You're seeing what is happening on the social media. Will they perform if that is the atmosphere we are subjecting them to? It is my prayer, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, that we support the women of Uganda to perform and to mother their nation. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, thank you. And I want to encourage all the women, never allow to come down because of any intimidation, any blackmail. Never allow it. Whoever is, we know the people who are doing it, but you must stand firm. And we must take this country up to where we want it to be. I have my 10 years as a deputy and 10 as a speaker. Honourable Anifa. Honourable Anifa.
That's none of our business. That's none of our business.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. And I'm very energized by your last word. You are here, and you are here to stay. And you, as I rise up to support the motion and add my voice in paying tribute to our First Lady, Honourable Florence, our role model, and as a former Pan-African Parliament President for the Women Caucus, I want to say that in the African Charter 2063, our most value for the girl child and the movement and acceleration of the girl child emancipation is high on the agenda. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, the gift from God is to have independence of mind and critical thinking, and indeed, the late Florence had independence of mind from what we read and from what has been attributed to her. Right Honorable Speaker, the resilience of those who were here before we came in and their persistence to see the emancipation of the girl child is a reason that His Excellency, the President, from day one that he came into power, came with a vision to ensure emancipation of the girl child. And when you look at this cabinet, very capable indeed. And you, being in that wheelchair to stay up this Parliament, August House, very effectively, very determined, very confident, we applaud you. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I think the only thing we can do as the women legislators now in power and those to come is to ensure that we also focus to ensure that those barriers that are keeping our women, the rural women, behind are brought up front, and ensure that all those barriers, together with our counterparts, the men, because you men, you are here because we are here, we should look at to ensure that all the rural women are also emancipated and follow suit. I pay tribute, I condole with the family members and everybody, and I thank each and everybody of you that have participated to recognize the effort of the girl child. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nifa. Maybe just as information, 2 years back, the Speaker of Parliament and the Deputy Speaker invited and hosted Mrs. Luvega in the conference hall there, and it was actually presided over by the Deputy Speaker then, Right Honorable Speaker Olanya. And as a Parliament, we are going to pass a resolution that we must recognize these people before they die. We'll pass that resolution and have these people recognized before they die. We'll have people like Prime Minister go visit some of these people and associate with them. Faith. I am coming this side.
Right Honorable Speaker, I am adding my voice to celebrate the late Honorable Florence, because even if she was moving in a lonely journey, she did not embarrass us, the girls who are yet to be born. She made Uganda know that the girls can, the women can, and so I celebrate her for that. Because of her, now we are able to be in this house, because Uganda realized that women can. Today we are lucky to have very many women in cabinet, in leadership, in positions of influence. I implore on them to also play a role of mentoring other women. Instead of fighting them or trying to be the queen bee and saying, don't come near me, we lift them up so that when we are no more, they will rise to the occasion and continue this emancipation. When we see a signal of a powerful woman fighting a middle one or a small one, we will stop the signal. That is our commitment as women, because we do not want to break that which Honorable Florence started, of growing and serving and giving space for other women also to serve. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Workers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand to support the motion, but also to pay tribute to a very strong woman, an iron lady, and a light of the women in Uganda, but also in Africa. And this is none other than the late Florence Alice Luvega. This lady, who was born in Mitiana, we are talking about the Single East, but that's Mitiana, is one of the two women that joined or that were a part of the first legislative assembly in Uganda, together with Vislam, who was an Indian and got the name Namubiru, that's the name, and Luvega. She gave a maiden speech in 1960. And in that maiden speech, she was calling upon the members of who were in government and parliament to make sure that they work on the facilities of the girl child with the intention of attracting more to come out and study. So she's an advocate of the women. She was an advocate of the women, and she has died with that passion because she wanted to meet also Wopa to make sure that she does not die with a dream. And it is recorded that in 1960, when she made her maiden speech, it was quoted by the Observer in London, and they said she has given a passionate speech, and as that, she deserves a standing ovation, and she got it. But you're talking about the woman of 1960, not today.
Solo.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, to give me this opportunity to support this motion for paying tribute to the departed legislator. As we all know, we have time to die. We live and go. But how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as a person who betrayed your people that elected you and instead followed the ideas of one person? Do you want to be remembered as a person who ate money for drugs that would have cured people and people died because of you? My fellow legislators, let us know that we all have to go. Remember, what will people say about you? Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, as a sports person and a Minister of Sports, alternative Minister of Sports, this lady has been too much into sports exercises. If you want to grow old and healthy, come and participate in sports exercises. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Joel?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the motion, remembering an incredible lady, the Honorable Florence Luvega. The Honorable Luvega had chance to go to school, acquire education, and she became what she became. Madam Speaker, there's many other young ladies in this country who have not had that chance. And part of the problem is menstrual health. Madam Speaker, in 2019, a study was carried out by our Ministry of Education on the menstrual health issues of our young ladies, and they found that 23% of girls aged 8 to 12, no, 12 to 18 rather, drop out of school during that time when they are in their menstruation. And some actually eventually drop out of school for good. Madam Speaker, in 2016 during campaigns, there was a promise by government, a campaign promise, to provide sanitary towels to girls in this country. To date, that promise has not been fulfilled, Madam Speaker. This would be an opportune moment in remembrance of the late Honorable Florence Luvega to fulfill this promise. So I hope that Now that government is according her a state funeral, talking about her incredible achievements, please fulfill that promise of availing sanitary towels
It is
to young ladies.
official funeral, not state.
Official funeral. There you are, which is not gotten by many people. So now that we are according her that official funeral, recognizing her achievements and efforts, as government, please fulfill that promise you made to young girls in 2016 to avail sanitary towels to them so that they also acquire an education, the Honorable Florence Luvega, or even better. Thank you.
Samakula.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I stand to support the motion. The country has lost a gallant daughter, our country, Uganda. She's been an example morally, culturally, because she cherished her Chiganda culture and loved her country, Uganda, at large. The late Honourable Florence Luvega was defiant to all kinds of undemocratic tendencies, even at a time during her minister when it was very risky to talk issues regarding to democracy. She was there to stand and defend her country. Last year, Right Honourable Speaker, the late Luvega was a mother, she was a leader, she was all sorts of good discipline a woman would have and a country would like to have. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Also, allow me to celebrate the life of our fallen soldier. We Christians, we are not moved when you know someone who has passed on, when believed in God, we know where she has gone. But allow me to call upon the Ministry of Education to think of the children who are pregnant by now, so that they can have a special program for those children, so that they don't drop out completely and they be considered. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Ogon, Elijah, Fiona. Achen.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, one, I want to salute government and also our Prime Minister. Thank you so much for the motion. I'm here to support the motion. And I know, as Ugandans, we ought to see what women are trying to do to make sure that we sustain progress. Right Honourable Speaker, from the departure of the late, we learn a few things. One, it is good to give people what they deserve when they are still alive. I say so because the late should have enjoyed what she deserved to. If she was exiled and her property was lost, where did the property go? Do we have government? Government, where are you? So my issue is, we give the women what they deserve when they are still alive. Today we have a deputy speaker. Give her the right support when she is still here. I say so because that is what good men do. It is also the kind of support that women should be giving to fellow women. I expect all of us to support women whenever they're in leadership. I say so because women are good listeners. When you have a problem with them, don't shout at them, go and talk to them. They will listen. Right Honourable Speaker, it is very, very important that we give women of this country an opportunity to move forward. Those women who are not clapping are doubting themselves. Yes, but those who are applauding my submission know what they do. They know. And Right Honourable Speaker, this house is a proud house, because if you looked at the history, Right Honourable Speaker, the late came on board at a time when there was nothing like affirmative action. She defied the odds, meaning that women have the brains. Nobody should ever think among us that women cannot equate themselves to men. No, they can even be better. Florence has already demonstrated it. 1960s, was there affirmative action? Each woman per district. Was it there? It wasn't there, but she came here. A woman of power, a woman with a brain, wisdom, intelligence. She did it. All the women here can do it. Let's protect the women. Government gives the government assurances, but Right Honorable Speaker, I can give a personal assurance. I am here to protect the women here.
Elijah, Fiona, Achen.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand here to support the motion to pay tribute to the late Florence Alice, who was one of the pioneer women in the politics of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, the likes of Honorable Cecily Ogwal must have learned from this great woman. This week, the social media was awash with about the issues about Honorable Cecily Ogwal. So, to me, all this activism, Honorable Cecily Ogwal must have learned from this great lady, who was one of the 6 first girls at Makerere University. I want to call upon our daughters, our sisters, to emulate the women who have excelled in this country, such that together we build a great and a prosperous nation. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue that you raised, I did escort you to the home of the late, and we heard from the family. I think this is why I must bring it to the Prime Minister. Right Honorable Prime Minister, we should not stop by just talking. Can we have the properties before we even think of tokens to give the former MPs? To these people who had their properties, we were told that that evening that her farm of 3 square miles on Hoima Road were taken. Up to today, it has never been returned. The family told us she has been crying about that property. So I want to call upon the government. This is returned to the family. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. We'll make follow-up. The good thing, the Prime Minister is a member of the Commission, and he will make a follow-up on the handshake for those former leaders. Fiona.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the motion and join the rest of my colleagues in paying tribute to the late Honorable Florence. Right Honorable Speaker, over time, society and culture has always defined roles and limitations to the African woman. It has only been the platform of education of the girl child that has granted them the opportunity to break barriers and to sit on tables to make decisions today. It is very unfortunate, Right Honorable Speaker, that with all the progress and the success of women emancipation today, the appreciation of women in leadership till today is still very poor, to the extent that a honorable colleague, Honorable Speaker, that it is incumbent upon us as leaders to shape the perspective, the narrative in which women contribute to the development of this country. And that can only be done by identifying and focusing on discussions that are on serious business, that are development-oriented, and that strictly translate to what contributions they bring on board as advocates of gender equality and as advocates of equity.
Dorcas. Members, as I told you that we appreciate the whole House is supporting the motion, but we also have to release the family. Yes, Dorcas.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. I stand to join my colleagues in paying tribute to our fallen soldier, late Honorable Florence Luvega. She remains iconic and a great inspiration to the girls and women of this nation, Uganda, and even Africa and beyond. From what we've heard from the mover, we know that she made a case for the education of the girl child. And that is the point that I would like to dwell on, to say that the Lord has called late Honorable Florence at a time when the country, Uganda, is grappling with the issues of teenage pregnancy. From the report that we have seen from the Forum for African Women Educationalists, we are seeing right now a 366.5% increase in teenage pregnancy. This is a trend that has not been seen in decades. May I therefore join the family and other colleagues to say, may her soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Silwanyi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, for always taking lead, and especially in this one. Right Honorable Speaker, many people have talked, and many members have talked. We should all stand and support the women of this country. Today, I want to take the opportunity to thank the NRM government. It is during the NRM government, Right Honorable Speaker, that women have come up in very powerful positions, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we used not to see this those days, but today, when I look at the front bench like this, I see Right Honorable Nabanja smiling, the Vice President, just see here, the men are almost going into extinction. Women are everywhere, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the NRM government. Even in eulogizing you, there is order.
Madam Speaker, we are honoring a great lady, a great woman, and the move of the motion. President Obote, who was in power at that time and is on record as becoming the first president that appointed a female minister in this country. In order.
Honorable Jonathan, what Solomon is saying, he is appreciating his government. Now that we have so many, 47%. At that time, it was all the Honorable Florence. He is appreciating the 47%. So he's in order to support his government.
Right Honorable Speaker, and for the record, even Obote's daughter-in-law is right here. Is right here in the cabinet. And this has been done by the NRM government. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to join members in condoling with the family and thanking everybody for coming today and standing with the family. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Imatlango, do you have anything to say as an elder in the house? No, it is okay. She can remove the mask for now. She's...
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to join the House in mourning our dear sister, mother, and grandmother, Florence Luvega. Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister, being a fellow woman, to lead the House in mourning this great lady. Right Honorable Speaker, I was restrained to make my comments because I had so many things on the wrong side of the balance sheet. But I thought that because you requested whether I would continue keeping quiet or say something, I think it's important for me to say I appreciate that the women of today and the government of today and the generation of today appreciate what the generations before us have done. Right Honorable Speaker, I continue to lament that as I grew up, I didn't have many people to look up to. Why? There were not many. So to see a rare person like Florence Luvega, all of us who are women have to celebrate her life. And Right Honorable Speaker, all I can say is that the only way we can celebrate the life of Florence Luvega and others is to continue to appreciate what they have done. At the time they did that, they did not get an allowance. They were not encouraged by anyone. And I must tell you, the women that were at the forefront in mobilizing the country for affirmative action, you had to prove yourself that you were more than a woman, sacrificing even more than a man. In any office, a woman had to do better than a man to prove that she was a staff in that office. So really, for Florence Luvega to stand up among the members of parliament and even to be a minister, it means she was able to be a better minister than an ordinary minister could be. Definitely, we have to celebrate the life of this lady. We need to thank God for her life. And I think, Right Honorable Speaker, I have two things, if you can allow me. I know the time is against. Allow me to mention two things. One, if we really want this country to benefit from affirmative action or for women emancipation, let's look at the bottom-up approach. How much are we doing as a country for that rural child who is now being pregnanted at the age of 12, 13, 14? That is the Florence Luvega we are murdering at that stage. Today, you see the country celebrating a girl's nakedness in a swimming costume. I don't know why. Suddenly, you are thinking about a girl. What have I done, really? Forget about my beauty. Look at the speech I made. Forget about the swimming costume. Forget about the beauty. But look at the maiden speech I made in the Constituent Assembly. Then you say, that is the woman we want to celebrate. Yes. Not the woman with a hairstyle. Please, stop celebrating the hairstyle of women. Stop celebrating our lipstick. Stop celebrating our legs. Stop celebrating our heels. But please celebrate the good things we have done for this country. And the women have done a lot, which has never been highlighted. Right Honorable Speaker, women have done so much. And here is my son Solomon standing up and say, this is the NRM. Which NRM? NRM was not even there when the Florence Luvegas were standing. They were not there. Please, let us talk about Uganda. Let us talk about Uganda. Let us appreciate what the DP did, what the KY did, what the UPC did to give us the seed which the NRM is building on now. As for me, NRM has invested zero. Because I don't see. Yes, NRM has provided maybe a platform for me to speak my mind, but NRM cannot claim that they have made me who I am. Order. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit that if we care about the women, let us make sure that we create a database for the women who have exited from Parliament. We should not be talking about Florence's women. There are many women, when they leave Parliament, they are totally forgotten. Let us have a record of who our women. Uganda, for God and my country.
Thank you, thank you. Members, as promised, we are going to have a database for women who the former leaders, and of course, performance of a government is relative. Honorable Nabanja will come up here and say NRM has made me. So we don't mind, but of course everybody has to appreciate their parties for making them. So we can't say they have not done anything really. And as we prepare to send off the mother, a mentor, an inspiration, and a pride of women movement, we really want to thank the family of Honorable Florence for taking care of Honorable Florence up to 104 years. She was making 104 in the next 5 days. So she's 104 years. We want to thank the family. As somebody said in the Bible gives us 70 years. So she really lived a bonus life. And we must thank God for her life. And without her, we will not be talking a lot about women here. We appreciate what she did to girl children, to the education she brought, to the affirmative action and emancipation of women. Now, women can now talk today because of the women who started. If they could do, who are we? We are here following their steps, and I pray we follow their steps in a good way. And we pray that the soul of Honorable Florence rests in eternal peace. I now put a question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the Honorable Alice Florence Luvega that was moved by the leader of opposition, by leader of government business and seconded by leader of opposition, to pay tribute to the first woman member of Parliament of Uganda be adopted by this House. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary, the ayes have it. Family, thank you so much. We will join you during the burial. Be blessed. Next item. Yes.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, just last week, this Parliament raised concerns about Ministry of Finance hindering the activities of Parliament in respect to cuts that were done, and now committees cannot move, they are stuck, and part of parliamentary work is being hindered, Right Honourable Speaker. You directed that the Ministry of Finance would harmonize with Parliament. That has not yet happened, but we saw in the media the Minister of Finance, who is not only a member of Parliament, but also a member of the Commission, belittling Parliament, that members of Parliament are insensitive to the challenges of Ugandans, when we are being sensitive by saying we cannot go and do oversight, we cannot do the work we are supposed to do as members, that belittling Parliament. And by the way, being a member of the Commission, he could have raised all these issues in the Parliamentary Commission, rather than go and address a press conference and attack Parliament. If, Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister is doing this, raising a procedure matter on whether this is not, the Minister is not working against us as Parliament, and whether he should not be asked to come and apologize to us as a Parliament. I want to request you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Government.
Right Honourable Speaker, and honorable colleagues, because of my busy schedule, I think I did not watch the news. And I did not watch, because that's the reason I did not even attend the commission the other day. But I was represented by my deputy lead of government business. Honorable colleagues, I think you need to be informed that the economy is not doing well. And I believe that's why maybe the minister is stressed on how to make ends meet. We have to be sincere. Right Honorable Speaker, remember, as lead of government business, I wanted to inform you that today, the Vice President, my office, has been in a meeting to see how best all of us can fit in the available resources. Right Honorable Speaker, we are not sitting down. We want Parliament to perform its duties, because there are a number of things Parliament has done and we appreciate. Because if you move and help government to do checks and balances, that will save the taxpayers' money. And therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, I want the honorable members to give us some time. We are not sitting down. Like you are aware, like a speaker, that we are not sitting down, we are struggling to see that we all move in unison and within the limited resources that we have. Thank you so much.
Procedure.
Clarification.
Procedure.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, we had a commission meeting where you were represented. Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance was there, and the resolution was, we must not stifle the operation of Parliament. And stifling the operation of Parliament, where members of Parliament go beyond a month even to get their own salary, even their own allowances. Leave alone that. You bring bills here, you bring supplementary budget, you want to be processed. The committees cannot sit. That's what the member is raising. You have a supplementary budget, but the committees cannot sit because we don't have money. So we agreed that we have priorities, and our priority is committee meetings, inland travel. Because if you want a committee to go up country, how will that committee move up country? How will they do their oversight role? That's what we are saying. Give us the money for oversight role of Parliament. We are not asking for too much. Because if we don't do oversight role, then what is the essence of us coming to sit here? We are doing the work of executive. Let's have the issues of committee work be handled. We've agreed on the travels put aside, but committee work is paramount to us.
Clarification, Madam Speaker.
Right Honorable Speaker, I look at this matter as administrative. I request that you and me, we are both members of the commission, we go behind the scene and agree on how to move. I beg you to move.
Procedure, Madam Speaker. Procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, I would like to agree with the Right Honorable Prime Minister that this debate in the first place should never have a reason here. The very reason should never allow your ministers to berate Parliament publicly. It should really be a lesson for you to caution them when you are meeting them. Secondly, that where there is no oversight, there should be no expenditure. You have no business to spend if Parliament cannot exercise oversight on you. we shall not be government, that will be something else. So there's no space for government to claim that Parliament has no money to spend when government has money to spend. Right Honourable Speaker, I'm putting the front bench on notice that tomorrow I intend to present to the House a proper analysis of the midterm releases, that the Prime Minister will have occasion to explain to the country the government priorities. Right Honourable Speaker, the issues of public spending and priorities concern the people. We are sensitive to the fact that the economy has a bit shrunk, and therefore all of us are duty bound to exercise frugality and prioritization in our activities. May in the same breath the Prime Minister, a honourable member and a veteran of this House, explain to this country and House a statement attributed to her to the effect that those that did not vote government will not benefit from government programs. Were you wrongly quoted? This is your platform to clarify. Yeah. You have every right to clarify, which is why I'm here.
Order.
Members,
Order.
members.
Order, madam. Order. Right Honourable Speaker, you know the friendship I have with my brother. And the respect I have for the leader of opposition. Honourable Speaker, on Thursday, I was with the Honourable Member of Parliament for Masaka in a place called Chanamukaka, where they had a hailstorm. Those people voted an opposition member, but we took food. Is it in order to come here and save Parliament that I was quoted? Yes, I was with the Honourable Sewamara and the woman member of Parliament for Masaka. They are not NRM, but I was there. Is it in order?
Members, we're discussing about this try interrupting Parliament.